Hi everybody. So today I'm going to take a few minutes and talk about how to set up a living vivarium. These are relatively cost effective and relatively low maintenance once they're actually all set up, and a really nice alternative to buying all fake plants and giving a very unnatural environment to whatever you should want to keep. So we'll start out with the most basic thing, which is the tank that I'm using, and this is 18 by 18 by 24 Exoterra. It's a nice manageable size for a lot of different types of geckos, which is what I mainly keep. You can also keep lots of different amphibians, dart frogs, things like that in a tank this size, and they'll be quite happy and healthy with that. So definitely a good choice if you're going to be setting up something like this. So the next thing, very, very important, is your lighting. So what I use for this purpose again is another Exoterra. It's just the hood light, and it houses two 26-watt bulbs. One of them is just a regular daylight bulb, and the other is actually a UVB 100 bulb. And so obviously that stimulates plant growth and keeps everything on a good day-night cycle. 8 to 10 hours of sunlight a day, or artificial sunlight in our case, is really going to be more than sufficient to grow most of the plants that you're going to want to keep in here. So very important. So before you do any of the substrate setup or any of that kind of stuff, the thing you're going to want to do is definitely wire up any of your thermometers, hydrometers, anything that has to go behind the background into little slots and pop up the bottom. You're going to want to do that before you lay in anything else, because it will be quite a pain if you don't. In my case, I have a waterfall in here, and also that thermometer and hydrometer that actually had to go in behind and through. So you're going to want to place both of those things if you're choosing to do a waterfall. I truthfully have had some issues with these Exoterra waterfalls. I have a few of them, and sometimes they're faulty. That's just the way they are, so make sure you're testing it before you're actually using it in your vivarium. Unfortunately, they can't always be trusted. So once all of those things are down, one of the most important layers of your entire vivarium is going to be right at the bottom here. These are ZooMed hydro balls. They're just a clay ball substrate, and the purpose of those is to wick water away from the roots and the soil, and make sure that you don't have any root rot issues or anything like that. So about 1.5 to 2 inches of depth is what you're going to need in those. They do compress a little bit once you put soil on top of them. They come in, I believe, 1 kilogram bag or something along those lines. Two bags is sufficient for 18 by 18 by 24 vivarium. So you're going to want to lay down a layer of those. On top of that, again, very important, but very simple, is just your run-of-the-mill screen. So nothing untreated steel, because you'll run into problems with rotting and rusting. And the idea behind the screen is that the plants won't necessarily grow as vigorously into the clay substrate and disrupt, again, the draining and all that kind of stuff. So on top of the screen and clay substrate, you're going to be using some type of soil. What I've chosen for this is Exoterra plantation soil. They have a few different options. This one works really well for the plants that I was going to grow. They come in a brick. This is just the packaging for it. So you'll just have to activate that brick with water and mix it all up. One brick will do a vivarium this size, so 18 by 18 by 24. Once you've laid the soil down, you can kind of choose your landscape. So if you want to build up certain areas, keep certain areas nice and low, all kinds of different variety in there is easily achieved, really. So kind of time to start thinking about the design that you want to put into play and how you're going to set up the actual vivarium. So into the plantation soil, you can put your plants directly. And so you have tons and tons of options when it comes to plants. Now, along the lines that you should be thinking would be what kind of animal is going to be living in the vivarium and what's natural to their habitat. what they're going to be most comfortable in as far as colorings. And visually, you know, what do you want to look at day in and day out kind of thing, because it's not as easy as kind of using a fake plant where you can just take it out and pop something else in. You know, you need some time to actually grow the plant. So, some good options would be bamboo, sansevieria, pothos, spider plants, catgrass, ficus, bromeliads, different types of ferns. In my case, I wanted to use things that were native to New Caledonia, and that's the type of gecko that I'll be putting in. It'll be a chihuahua, so that's it's kind of native land, and wanting to use plants that were maybe not necessarily familiar, but something that the gecko was designed to kind of utilize. So, a couple different things to consider when planting. Obviously, like anything else, if you're using plants for an arboreal or a semi-arboreal gecko, any of the Rhachdactylus species, cresteds, gargoyles, you need some height. So a couple nice tall plants in the back there, and those will provide a nice kind of daytime hiding spots. This smaller plant will actually grow up and create a little bit of canopy with the money tree that I've got here. Both quite hardy and strong. So that's something that you need to also consider is, you know, if you're putting in one of the heavier body geckos, Lechianus, Chihuahua, even a gargoyle, you need to have plants that will actually support that gecko. So nothing too flimsy, and things that are nice and hardy. So kind of common sense in that area. So once you've chosen your plants and you've actually done your planting, you're just going to be laying down another little layer of substrate. So what I use for this purpose is, again, an Exoterra product. It's just jungle earth. So it's just a wood bark, jungle, I believe cypress or something along those lines. Fairly natural for a forest floor, and provides a good stimulating environment, a little bit more texture inside. I've also added some different mosses. So I've got sphagnum moss, and just a jungle moss, a forest moss. And again, that works really well with the coloration of the gecko that I'm putting in eventually, and will keep him nice and happy and feeling quite secure. So after you've done all that, if you're going to add any of your you know, climbing branches, twigs, anything like that, you can always do that. And you know, the idea is that the plants that are natural will actually grow around. So if you're using any kind of vines or anything like that, they will actually kind of all work in naturally, just as if that was, you know, a dead tree or dead log laying there. So that's your very basic setup. Once you've finished with the entire setup and you're at the stage where I'm at with this one here, you're going to want to wait. Now that's the difficult part. You're going to have to leave this kind of 3 to 6 weeks. And the purpose for that is to just let all the plants get rooted, and you know, make sure everything is growing properly. No surprises in, you know, if you put something in and 2 weeks later you find out that it doesn't work quite right in your environment, you may have to uproot a plant or two. So far with this one I've been quite lucky. Everything seems to be flourishing really well. But it's better to do it now rather than trying to uproot while you have a gecko or anything else living inside of it. Excuse me. So 3 to 6 weeks of kind of a cool-off period. Just let this grow and flourish and get the strength that it needs to support whatever critter you're going to put in it. And that basically covers everything. When you're actually ready for your gecko, you can obviously put some ledges in, put some food dishes in, all those kind of things that are essential. But for this stage, I am just using the plants and just letting them grow by themselves. So obviously not a completed setup, but a good look at the future of this one. So hopefully that covers everything that I wanted to cover. Like I said in the beginning, this is very cost-effective, relatively low maintenance once it's all set up, and really nice natural habitat for your geckos or any other lizard that you might want to keep. So give it a try. It's not too hard. Thanks so much for watching. Take care.